Very good afternoon. How are you doing? Hope you're doing good. Being a Tuesday, without a miss being here, I've been away for some time, but I am back. My name is Bosquin, and of course, you're tuned to Farm Drive right here at the Farmers Media, where we connect, learn, and grow. Being 1st of August, you know what it means today? You know what that means? I know some of you doesn't, some does, but some of us who understand. Today is National Girlfriend's Day. I hope you've wished your girlfriend Happy Girlfriend's Day before it's too late. Yeah, personally, I've not received any wish from anyone. I don't know if am I a bad girlfriend? Am I that bad? Nobody can just even wish me a happy girlfriend's day. Just a text like happy girlfriend's day. No one. It's fine. I didn't even ask for a gift. I just asked, like, just wish. Some of us be like, when you hear the term girlfriend's day, you'll be like, maybe if you're dating, that's when you're supposed to wish someone. No, blah, blah, blah. No. Who is a girlfriend? A girlfriend is a female friend. And of course, if you have female friends, those are your girlfriends, or that is your girlfriend. So it doesn't hurt if you just wish them happy girlfriend's day today. But make sure if you haven't done that, make sure you wish them before the day ends. And if you feel like I'm your girlfriends too, I still have room. You can still wish me happy girlfriend's day and make that special. And if that girlfriend is so special to you, you can add some flowers, some chocolates, just spice it up, make a day, make her feel special. And of course, those who are celebrating their birthdays today, happy birthday, because we've just seen so many people posting birthday, happy birthday to you. Feel appreciated, like feel loved. Yeah, cheers to more openings, more blessings, and of course, prosperity and good health. Yeah, and today I'm not going to like I'm not mentioning my topic right now, but I just want you to keep stay tuned. Of course, follow all our social media platforms at a farmers, like on Facebook at a farmers media, on Twitter at a farmers underscore, and on TikTok at a farmers media. And of course, don't forget to go to our website. Yeah, go or log into our website on www.afarmers.com, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Farmers Media. Keep in touch. This is where we give you a chance to learn, to connect, and to grow. As a farmer, if you are at a farmer's right now, we're going to give you details. We like some have been said, some haven't, but we are here to give you every details. We are going to talk to give you information or details about your market, the market trends, what's trending, what's new in the agricultural world, and agriculture being the backbone of the economy. Like let me say this. 50%, is it 50? No, 52% of the population worldwide are farmers. Okay, let me speak from Africa. 52% of the population are farmers. That's one thing I know. I'm sure you didn't know, but now you do. So, there's that engagement. You need to know. You need that exposure, like as a farmer, and get to know. Maybe there's this thing I've been doing wrong. I need to adjust. Or maybe I hate this type of creativity and I'd like someone else to know how these things are done. Farming or agriculture is an art whereby it's an art. If you take it as an art at the same time, it's business. If you take it that way, it's going to be, interesting, as Noah usually mention it. Interesting, that's the word he likes saying. And I'm not going to copy that, but that's what you usually say. Interesting. But anyway, it's interesting. Yeah, for sure it is. So we need to take it like a step ahead, a step further. Like, let's not just take agriculture or farming like, yeah, it's just there. you know let's make it let's spice it up. Let's do farming in a more creative way. I've seen a lot of people like young farmers out here, very creative in what they do, like in farming. If you visit their farms, their homemade farms, whereby someone has just created a farm out of nowhere, just brought soil, mounted it up, and you know started their own. I'll one day take you there. We host our show from there. At least I'm trying to find some, we're planning on that so that we take our show there. You see how much agriculture is fun. It's fun. It's really fun. And now, before we continue, I'd like to point out some two, three things. Like, with the updates, let's know what's happening. What's happening. What's the weather where you are, right? Like in Nairobi, the temperature is 15 degrees Celsius. That's the minimum. Ranges between 15 and 24 degrees Celsius. In summer, cloudy and sunny intervals. In Mombasa, it's sunny and the temperature is between 22 degrees on the minimum and 28 degrees on the maximum. I want to be to Mombasa, You see the way I'm dressed. Imagine a hoodie. You can imagine that. I want to be in Mombasa. Kisumu, the temperature is 19 degrees, between 19 and 30 degrees Celsius. The maximum. Kisumu. Kisumu. Kisumu, here I come. Either Kisumu, where is it that the cities are the ones which are hot? And like 034. You get it? Eldoret, the temperature is 14 degrees on the minimum and 24 degrees on the maximum. And of course, it is sunny, and Nakuru, it's raining. Like it's rainy, there's sun, some sun intervals, and the temperature is between 15 degrees and 27 degrees Celsius on the maximum. And Nyeri, it's cloudy and has sunny intervals, whereby the temperature ranges between 13 degrees and 23 degrees maximum. And Marsabit, it's cloudy and sunny, and the temperature is between 16 degrees Celsius and 24 degrees Celsius on the maximum. Yo, yo, yo. Here we go. Here we go. Now, tell me where you are, wherever you are. How is it? How is it? How is the weather? And right here, where we are, is between 15 degrees Celsius and 23 degrees Celsius. And it's mostly cloudy. That's why I'm on hoodie. You know. This is a farmer's media, and the show right on air is Farm Drive. My name is Boss Queen KE. You can follow all my social media platform at Boss Queen underscore KE all over. Even on Google. You can Google that. Just go to Google and type Boss Queen KE. You'll find me. I'm not bragging, but that's how it is. Anyway, and today, it has just taken me some good time and to do a good research on today's topic. And whatever we are discussing here, it's something you've seen. It affects both farmers, let's call them producers, and consumers. And today I'd like to focus on these challenges. What are some of these challenges facing farmers? Not only farmers, but both, okay, mostly farmers, because they're the producers. We'll come to farmers, the producers, and then go to the consumers. They both, there is a challenge. Both face challenges. So, but my main focus today is on the producers, who are the farmers. Now, what do you think are some of these challenges facing, some of these farmers, you as a farmers, you personally as a farmer, or a friend who's a farmer, both the livestock farmer, the crop farmer, either way, what are some of the challenges you're facing? That is my question. Let's talk. Like, as much as you're giving me the challenge you've been going through, at least give us a solution. Okay, you went through this and this was the solution. You applied, or maybe you got some help and you employed it. The solution will be like, I faced this challenge and this is the remedy. Help someone today. Maybe you might find someone who might have gone through the same, maybe went through the same, or who is going through the same. So if you give us a challenge, make sure at least give a solution. And if you haven't gotten the solution, I'm sure by the end of today you will have. If not, I'm going to invite an expert in the course of the week, and he comes in all your challenges and your concerns, your questions you like to know, and something you've been trying out to solve and you haven't gotten any solution. He or she, whoever we invite in here, is going to help you out. Let's talk. Let's know the problem. In Africa, we've been facing, as I said earlier, the statistics shows that 52% of the population are farmers. And in Africa, we depend on our most the foods which we grow. So, what are some of these, challenges we face? Or why is it so hard? Like, even if, as much as the higher percentage of our population are farmers, why is it that we have an issue? Sorry, an issue of food security? Why is it that we're still experiencing hunger? Why is it that we're still not producing enough to feed our population? There must be a problem somewhere, and that problem is what we want to address. We want to know, as a farmer, you personally. And now I'm talking from your point. Don't look at someone else. Like, you know what you grow. You know some of the challenges you've been facing through the growth, through the production, to the, until it reaches a point whereby you take them to the market, your produce. What are some of the challenges you face? Personally, I have a list. I have a list of, according to the time I was doing my research and all that, the ones I came across. But I want to hear from the farmer's point of view, like as a farmer. You personally, what are some of these challenges you face? Make sure you drop your comment right there on Facebook. You can tag me anywhere, wherever you're watching or listening from, any country, wherever you are. Let us know. Let me know what you're facing. Let me know what you're going through. At least we get to know, let's help each other and see how we're going to go about that. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Farmers Media. And our website is open, www.farmers.com, and also at bosquin_ke on all social media platforms. Let's keep this going. Okay, now number one. Okay, let me just brush through. You know what to expect, like through this conversation. You just be aware of what you're going to discuss. First of all, it's the issue of the climate change. We've been talking about climate change, climate smart, the issue of climate change and to adapt it to climate smart agriculture. We're coming to that. The other one is about pests and diseases. This is the most common. Like, show me a farmer who has never experienced this. Show me one. I'm sure there's none. The other one is soil degradation. Soil degradation. What causes soil degradation? When you hear soil degradation, what comes into your mind? Have you ever experienced this? I'm sure you have. What did you do? What step did you take? You know, but you're coming back to that, and the other one is the market. The market. Once you produce your goods, you've harvested, packaged, and like now it's time for you to get the market. How good is your market? How reliable is it? And after you take them to the market, how sure are you're going to get the profit? How are the prices? You know, Today I come here as a farmer, like let me put myself in the shoe of that farmer. Let's go through this. I was once a farmer. It's not that I'm not, but I just took a break so that I review what I did wrong so that to correct once I come back to farming. I come back in full force. I know what's right, what I'm supposed to do, what not to do. Once I have full knowledge and I'm fully like my mind, my soul, my heart, everything is just focused or ventured into farming. That's what I mean. So, and the other one is the financial resources, finances, finances. Yeah, it's a major issue, especially to the large scale farmers. It's very, very, you know, it's quite a common one. But we're here to help each other. We're going to see how we're going to tackle all this and find a solution. When you talk about the financial, then here we talk about the access to credit, loans, things to do with money. How I'm going to get this so that I can achieve this. The other one is this one is the most common. Like I feel like most farmers need something. Something must be done for it to flow. Transforming from agriculture view to agribusiness. I don't know if we're together. It's been a common issue. Okay, fine. As much as agriculture is an art, we still need to earn. We see artists go to the stage, perform, at the end of the day, they get something. That's art and it pays. In agriculture, we still need to do the same. Why don't we practice agribusiness? I know this is a topic on its own, but we're just going to tackle a bit of it, and then one of these fine days will bring someone in so that he is going to take us through why is it so hard, why is it so difficult for farmers to transform. Like there is that transformation from agriculture to agribusiness. What is this that is in between that is making them not to build? What's this that is bridging? The other one, valuing white collar jobs versus blue collar jobs. Agriculture is a blue collar job, and most people have the notion or the mentality of all I need to do is to sit in office from 8 to 5, work, and just be clean. But we have different perspective. Some of us prefer to be in the farm. Like, yeah, let me get to the farm, gets dirty, but at the end of the day, whatever you're going to get out of it, it's quite impressive. Now, these are some of the challenges. These are some of the things that are bringing hindrance towards food production. And when you have enough or plenty or adequate supply of food, the economy we boost the economy, because most of the crops grown are from within. So once everybody is well fed, definitely we're going to have a productive country. So these are some of the things that I've just mentioned them, but I'm here to explain. Maybe you might be having more. You might be knowing, like, I just asked you as a farmer, what are some of these challenges you've been facing, you've been going through, and what have you done? You gave up in farming. Maybe you decided to change. Maybe you are this type of farmer. You are the horticultural. You shifted to aquaculture, apiculture. Depends. What did you do? Like, whatever field you are, tell me some of the challenges. For me, I'll just outline them, explain them. Let's get a solution, but I'll prefer to hear from you as a farmer, from the crowd. Like, how is it? How good is it? How bad is it? These are some of the things. Like, let's engage. Let's get to this. And we're going to help one or two people who might be going through the same. Okay, let's get down to this. Now, let me start with the issue of climate change. The first time I remember, there's a day I discussed on the previous videos. If you go back, you will find the issue. We're discussing about the climate change. And we talked about climate change, the effects, and climate change is one of the major factor or problem facing a farmers. Okay, this is what it does. Let me just brush through what climate change is. Okay, this is the change of weather patterns. We usually have this norm, like from this and this period, this is how the weather is. Maybe it's sunny, it's rainy. These are some of the things we're talking about. And these weather patterns are the ones which determine when are you going to plant, where are you going to cultivate your land, when are you going to harvest. But once they've changed, you have no idea. Like right now, this is what we're experiencing as the whole world. Like, the climate has changed. It's no longer the normal one we used to have. Like, where I come from, between April, between March and April, it's the planting season. But this time round, the year, it has changed. Like, during April, during March, February, March, April, that's when some of the first farmers started to plant maize. But now, if we come to check of the recent time, those in the past, during between those months, the planting season, you'll be receiving rains and all that. But this year, the case has been different. We haven't been having rains. The rains came too late, between towards May. It's a change. It affects the farmers, and they're like, there's a delay, and you're not even sure, like, how is it going to. You're not sure of the, like, June, July, August, September, October. How are they going to be? You are not sure, because the rains have delayed, and you're not even sure during harvesting how is it going to be. Because during harvest, when maize requires sunshine when harvesting, because they need to be dried, unless you're doing it for silo, or you're making a silage, or you're selling fresh maize. That's when you don't require sun. But if you're planting your maize for the dried maize for the purpose of the dried maize, the one making flour, then definitely you need sun. You need to dry the maize. But now we are in that, we are like in the puzzle. We are like, we're not even sure. As much as the weather forecasting department is has predicted this how it's going to be, they're even like, I'm not sure. The farmers, this it's hard to personally, I'll take it to the personal level, like for me to trust you, or to make sure that whatever you're telling me I should trust, you should give me evidence of this what happened. For me to trust you, there must be evidence. Now I'm talking from a farmer's point of view, like you're telling us there'll be rain up to this certain period of time. You're telling me to plant at this certain period of time. How sure am I that by the time I'm going to harvest my crops, they're not going to be affected? And then this someone telling you this is now the beginning of the season, and you're not even sure. It's just a prediction of how it's going to be, but it's not even clear enough if that's how it's going to be. There's that fear of the unknown, like you're not even sure of how things are going to be. That's what I'm talking about now. As a farmer, you will, once you experience such, you'll be like, you're not sure of how it's going to be. And this change of climate has really affected most places. You find out that some places are experiencing drought. Like here in 034, county 034, like there's a place way past from coming to work. There's this guy who planted maize. As initially the maize were just okay, they were doing good, they were healthy. Later on, due to lack of water and rain, the maize started drying, and they were halfway, like they had they're almost in they were getting off their, how do I call them? Their heads were, they'd already had their heads. I don't know if that's the correct word. That's it. Like the maize were already starting showing their maturity. Like they're going to mature. They started carrying. There's those two small babies. But right now they're all dry. The whole farm is totally dried up. Totally. You only see the brown, leaves and all that, because there's no water. And there's no way you're going to tell me this guy could have watered like close to 1 acre. Generally, on their own, they're struggling with water. Like there's no enough water for them. Then you want to water the whole, like let's say 1 acre or half an acre of land, maize. It's not adding up, because they knew. I'm sure this farmer knew this is the period when they usually plant, and maybe he or she is not aware that we have the change in terms of climate. The weather patterns have changed. It's not the way they used to be, but right now it's a different. You get? That's what I'm talking about. It has really affected them. Okay, now it has changed. You are not sure of you are used to the normal way of planting at this period. By this period I'll be harvesting. Then now things have changed. The maize, they have dried up. What next? Hunger striking. That's the next thing. Hunger is going to strike. Actually, we've been experiencing high prices in terms of flour, maize flour. The prices are quite high. 2 kgs, it's about 300 Kenyan shillings. And initially, when you used to have plenty, it used to cost 90 shillings only. Now you can imagine. I'm not trying to be political, but that was the reality. Initially, you used to have at least enough, because this thing starts all down here. Like before you get to the other factors, the issue of fertilizer and all that. I'm not going there right now. But right now I'm on the climate. Once the climate has changed, some places have become dry due to lack of rain, and others because once the land once it is dry and there's a lot of wind, there's a possibility we are going to have soil erosion. All the topsoil is going to be swept away, and then the soil is going to lose value. Or that is on the other side, where on the one side where we're having less rain or no rain. The other place or the other side is whereby we're having too much rain on the areas that never used to experience that. And once we have that, too much rain is also harmful. It's going to sweep away. It's going to sweep away it's going to sweep away the topsoil. And once the topsoil is washed away, definitely the soil now remains. The topsoil is what is fertile. And once it's swept away, no matter how much you're going to fertilize that soil, you're going to put a lot of fertilizer, manure, and everything before it gains the fertility. It's going to take ages. It's not going to be the same. Therefore, someone will just decide, no, I won't be keep on planting your crops, getting lost. Now, considering the seeds are expensive, the fertilizer is expensive, the cost of production is too high, then you just get the bare minimum. Nobody is going to do that, and that's why we are still struggling. We will still struggle. Now, we need to put measures. Dealing with climate change, as we usually say, you should adopt to the climate smart agriculture. CSA should be here, should be in your fingertips. What are some of these things that you're supposed to employ while practicing climate smart agriculture? First of all, it's minimum tillage. Like while plowing your land, disturb the least you can. The least soil you can. Just disturb the least. Like if you're going to dig that land, just dig where necessary. Where you need. Like you're going to plant maize, just dig a hole, drop 2 seeds, cover it. You're done. That's what we mean by minimum tillage. Like we are trying to reduce the soil disturbance, and once you reduce the soil disturbance, you're going to make the soil to be firm enough, strong, it has a good foundation whereby as much as whatever type of erosion that will come, it won't hinder with it a lot. The second thing while practicing climate smart agriculture is mulching. Every time you plant your crops, apply mulch, especially if you're coming from the semi-arid areas. Apply mulch. The mulch is so beneficial to your crop. First of all, it conserves water. Anytime you're using any type of irrigation method and you apply mulch, you're going to conserve water for the crop. You're going to avoid the direct sunlight that strike the soil. You're going to prevent it. Like sometimes the soil gets it overheats. So the mulch prevent overheating. The third thing about mulching, it prevents the growth of the weeds, the unwanted plants. So your farm is going to remain weed free. You'll have an assurance that once it's covered, it's going to be weed free. So you don't have to be stressed like, okay, after 1 month, 2 months, you're going to weed your farm or try to try to find herbicides to spray and all that. No, you are guaranteed that your farm is going to be weed free. And the other one, it's going once the mulch is rotten, it's going to add value to the soil. It boosts the soil nutrients because while the mulch, it depends on what type of mulch you're using. Definitely, if you're using dry grass or dry leaves, once they decay, it's going to add the soil nutrients, and that's a plus to the soil. That is number two in practicing climate smart agriculture. Number three, we've talked about minimum tillage, we've talked about mulching. Number three is practicing conservation agriculture. That is number three. Conservation agriculture, I'm sure you've seen, you know what this means. Like, you're well conserved, like you conserve both the soil and the environment. Whichever you're going to plant is going, to help the soil keep its fertility and maintain its structure. The other one is crop rotation. Crop rotation is one of the best thing to do, and I think you should embrace crop rotation if you want to minimize the use of pesticides, the use of herbicides, the use of agrochemicals. If you want to do away with it, with like the whole practice it. Crop rotation at its best. Okay, someone might be like, if you're a new farmer and maybe you want to venture into farming, and you might be asking yourself, what is this crop rotation? You might be asking yourself what this is and all that. So crop rotation is the growing of crops. You alternate crops of different families. For instance, if this time round in your farm you're planting maize, next time you don't plant maize or any grass family, you're going to plant legumes. The next thing you're going to plant, it's the roots family. Like the roots family, that's what I mean. Someone might be saying roots family, that's roots party. No, I'm not talking about the Wajakoya party. The roots family is the arrowroots, is the sweet potatoes, is the Irish potatoes. Those are roots family. That's how you alternate. Now, crop rotation is beneficial. First of all, these are the benefits of crop rotation. Number one, it's a natural way of controlling pest and disease. For instance, if this type of crop A, is usually attacked by this type of pest, every now and then, if you plant crop B, the pest will go away because they don't attack crop B. And that you've managed. You've managed the spread of pests and diseases that are usually, like maybe the crop is usually attacked by. That is number one. Number two, you reduce, instead of using agrochemicals every now and then, you reduce it by alternating the crop. Once you alternate it, definitely you're sure the crop that is going to grow there is going to do well, and you're not going to, move up and down in search of, the chemicals and all that. Number three, there is maximum utilization of nutrients. What do I mean by this? This is whereby, legumes, they produce nitrogen once you plant them. They produce a lot of nitrogen, but they don't consume nitrogen. So the next thing you're going to do, you're going to plant a crop that needs nitrogen. So that's what you're going to plant. If you plant there, definitely it's going to be utilized and it's going to grow healthy, and you don't need to add additives and all that. So these are some of the benefits of crop rotation. As I come back, I'm going to talk about two. Let me just mention the two. The other one, we've talked about mulching, crop rotation, minimum tillage, and conservation agriculture. I think there are four. The fifth one is agroforestry. This is the practice of growing of crops, rearing of animals, and growing of trees in the same piece of land. You know, first of all, it's beneficial since you get crops from the farm, you get manure from the animals. The manure used from the animals, you put them to the farm and to the trees. You get the farm where you plant the crops. These crops, some of them are used to feed the animals. And the trees, some of the trees you plant or you may plant are animal feed, whereby you can cut them, the leaves, and feed the livestock. There's that exchange. You are just using this to this to this. And that is practicing of organic farming, whereby you're going to have, food, like we're getting food from free from chemicals, and which is the most healthiest thing. When we come back after this short commercial break, it's very short, we're going to continue with other problems. That was just one of the major problems that we've discussed about the climate change, and then we're coming to discuss about the pest, the soil, market, the finance, and all that. We're coming to discuss it right after this break. Keep it to Farmers Media. My name is Boss Queen, and this is Farm Drive.
The heart of any shamba lies in its soil. Because soil is so precious, it needs to be managed really carefully. A good place to start is with a soil test. This will tell you how healthy your soil is, its pH levels, what type of soil it is, which crops you can grow in your soil, and advice on which fertilizer is best to use. If you follow the soil test recommendations, it can boost your yields. So, how do you take a soil test sample? Firstly, dig up soil samples. Use a soil auger or panga to take a sample 1 feet deep in a zigzag pattern across your shamba. You will need at least 10 samples. Mix all the different samples together in a bucket. The soil is now ready to be scanned and tested. You can find out about how to get your soil tested by contacting your extension officer. Alternatively, contact a Ministry of Agriculture research station near you. A soil test costs about as much as 1 bag of maize. You should do a soil test at least every 3 to 5 years. Conservation agriculture is a way of farming that keeps nutrients and moisture in your soil. It's also a good way of controlling pests and diseases. The 3 main principles are minimum tillage, mulching, and crop rotation. With minimum tillage, you only disturb the soil where you will be planting. You can do this with a reaper or using a djembe. The second principle is called mulching. This means that you cover your soil with leftover residues such as leaves or maize stovers. This protects your soil from the hot sun while holding moisture in the ground. The mulch material will break down and add nutrients to your soil. Crop rotation is the third principle. You shouldn't plant the same crop on the same piece of land year after year. Instead, rotate between different crop families each season. If you follow these simple principles, you can be certain of healthier soil and higher yields in the long run.
Okay. Welcome back. Anyway, it's the conversation through the talkback with my producer. Those people you don't see, but one day we'll bring them here. Tutawaleta hapa mbele ya camera. You see them. They're camera shy. They can't even speak. Hmm? You can imagine, but they're us. When you see us like on the camera, there's someone behind it. Yeah, someone. Just someone. Just where on the other side there's someone just looking at me. Anyway, welcome back and thanks for keeping it up with us media. This is Farm Drive. My name is Boss Queen, and of course, we are continuing with our discussion. The challenges. Okay, I'm not supposed to be laughing, but I like laughing. Anyway, problems or the challenges facing farmers. And in our first segment, we mentioned some of them, and now I'm just going into detail and trying to find a solution. I'm not an expert in this, but at least I have a knowledge. I have some knowledge on the same. And I had asked that question of if, like, what are some of these things, like some of the challenges you're facing, and how you went about them. So keep your comments coming. Let me know what you went through in whatever, both in livestock, production, like generally as a farmer. So now that we'll be going into details, like as a livestock farmer, maybe in beef farming, um, challenges can't be the same. You don't expect a beef farmer, a dairy farmer, and a beekeeper to be going through the same challenges. Nah, they can't. So, whatever field you're in, whatever specification you have based yourself in, what are some of the challenges generally you've been going through? And I talked about the climate change and at least give a solution towards them, towards what is supposed to be done to curb the issue. And now I'm going to talk about the pests and diseases. The most interesting one, pests and diseases. Like as a maize farmer, like if your maize get attacked by aphids, aphids, like there are a lot of diseases, the pests that attack different crops, different pests, and different ways to deal with them. Maize is the disease of aflatoxin. That is one of the worst. If your maize gets to that you're done. Like as a farmer, that's a complete. Let me say just a total. I lack a word to describe that. Total loss. Aflatoxin is one of the worst. Maybe, but I think as we are going and where we are headed, as we progress and how the research is going, the researchers doing the research, we're going to curb. I'm sure we're going to curb all this, and the solution is going to be found. And due to the genetic modified seeds, we're going to get rid of it. Like that's something I like about technology. You give solution. For instance, for the sake of pest and disease, companies or manufacturers are coming up with solutions whereby we are producing seeds that are, how do I put it, are resistant to certain types of diseases and pests. For instance, we have some of the drought resistant seeds for cowpeas. Like there green grams. They can just grow anywhere. Is it cowpeas or green grams? I don't know. Kunde, mboga kunde. Like kunde can grow anywhere, both in dry areas, and cool and wet areas. We've seen them do that. Sorry about my eye. Anyway, that's one thing I like about technology. There's that growth, there's that development. Yeah. So, pest and disease, especially now, I've just been too much into, into crops. Let me go a little bit into livestock. You know, as a livestock keeper, whatever maybe you are doing, you're keeping dairy, dairy cows, you're keeping beef, you're keeping chicken, rabbit, you know. So, pests and disease control, how are you going to do this? Or what are types of any type of pest that has ever attacked you or your livestock or your crops, and what did you go about it? First of all, I know much about, maybe let me speak on behalf of cows, because that's what I'm familiar with. I'm not familiar with rabbits that much and goats, but at least cows, at least I'm familiar with cows. So, for instance, a dairy cow. A dairy cow, you should make sure you, like, at least prevent it. When a dairy cow gets mastitis, that is mastitis, teat. That this is a teat disease. Like, once it gets, your cow gets infected, it will take you some time, because you won't be milking anymore. You'll be milking, but the milk you will be getting, you're not going to. It's not safe for human consumption. So therefore, you will be limited. You're going to get a loss for, like, I don't know. Once the treatment starts, it will take you like three to 4 days for you to start consuming the milk. So every time you'll be milking, you'll be getting rid of the milk. Yeah, like off. It's not allowed for human consumption. So that's a loss. Now imagine you have like 3 cows. This is where you depend. One cow gives you like around 20 liters of milk per day. And let's do the math. Maybe you're selling 1 liter at you're selling it. Maybe you're not the one taking it direct to the market. There's someone who comes in between, the mediator, like, a broker who buys then goes and sells. So, for instance, you sell this person 1 liter at 30 shillings. One cow gives you at least 20 liters per day. This one amounts to 60. 20 liters, like, that is 600. Let's get to that. Let's do the math as we continue. And let's see how, like, let me make you understand and feel this problem the farmers of farming are going through. Now, you are selling 1 liter at 30 shillings, and one cow gives you 20 liters. That is 600 shillings. That is one cow per day. And you're having 3 cows. Let's say the other cow gives you close to, how much? How many liters? The other one gives you 25. Now that is 25 liters times 30. That is 1,350. And we have 3 cows. Let's say the other one, let's give it 15 liters per day, because they won't be the same. So 15 liters times 30, that is 1,800. Now, per day, you're supposed to be getting 1,800. That is per 3 cows. Now, as a farmer, maybe the 2 cows have been attacked by mastitis. And for the next 7 days, the milk will be not safe for consumption. Let's assume the 1,800 multiplied by 7 per week, how much you get. That is 12,600. And now, per month, That is 50,400. And now it happens that your two cows, or three, or both cows, or even one has gotten mastitis or any disease. Now you can imagine the loss for the whole week. Lose close to 12,000 or even 13,000. Let's just say 13,000. You see, it's a challenge. It's a big challenge. This is a loss. Remember, this farmer, you wake up very early, every morning, very early. Make sure you get food for these cows. Make sure they're well fed, given enough clean water to drink. Make sure you clean where they stay, their shed, the cow shed. It's clean. Like, their waste is removed. It's clean. That's what you do every morning. Make sure there's food, like their fodder is there, supplements are there, there's dairy meal. No, it's a lot. And then it's being attacked by disease. And maybe unfortunately, that cow, maybe if not given proper medication or treatment, it dies. A cow that used to give you, let's do this math with one cow. The one which used to give you the one which used to give you 20 liters per day. That one, the one which used to give you 600 per day. If you multiply it by 7, you'll get 4,200. The 4,200 is per week. If you multiply it by 4, that is per month, it gives you 16,800. Now, every month you get 16,800. And then this cow just dies. And mind you, you've spent like close to 50,000 trying to get treatment for it. And then it dies. You can imagine. You can now feel the pain of being a farmer. Now, not only in cows, but also if you try farming. Imagine planting an acre of maize. Now, one bag of fertilizer is 3,000. Now, the current was 3,500. And now, you use like 7 bags of fertilizer. You buy like 1 bag or 52 bags of 1 bag of seed. You pay people to plant, or the machinery to plant. Of course, you have to fuel it, and the cost of fuel right now where we are. You know it yourself. You know the cost. And then towards maturity, you haven't, like, a point whereby you've been putting a lot of effort. There's weeding, there's top dressing, making sure. And some of them you've even done irrigation, like there's watering. You've spent money to do the watering. And then all of a sudden, just something comes in, sweep them away, or just they die, or get attacked by disease. Total loss. You know how that feels. It's quite hectic. Now, if you feel a farmer, if you just go do the math, you will understand why sometimes someone tells you a bag of maize that is supposed to cost 3,000 costs 7,000. Yeah. Like, I think we should always, as much as we want food, if you want food like to be cheap, I think farmers should be well taken care of. They deserve better. Anyway, I'll just go talk to some of the farmers to come here. I'll bring some of them here so that we talk about this. Let's like, you just get to know about their experiences. You feel them. I'm talking it from a presenter point of view. But if a farmer comes and explains it to you, the losses, the struggles he went through, you'll get to understand. Now let's get to soil degradation. Now, soil. This is whereby the soil loses fertility, and there's nothing you can do about it. Only to give it time. You just give it time, enough time, not only time but enough time for it to regain back its fertility. Like soil. The soil structure is so funny. It's made of layers. There's the topsoil. There's the granular. This structure. And where the fertility is, like where the soil is fertile, where the nutrients are, it's supposed to break. And breaking that, for it to break in order to release nutrients to the topsoil, it's going to take quite some time. Now you can imagine the soil has lost its fertility. Nothing can grow. As much as you try, it's not. You know, it's quite hectic. And imagine you can't go, maybe this is your farm, this is your land, you have no other piece of land, and the cost of buying another piece of land. That's quite another challenge. Like, it's very expensive. I see most people prefer leasing than buying. You just go lease, buy, hire, like, be like, I'm leasing this land for 2 years, and this is what I'm going to plant. I'm not going to buy, at least, you know. So imagine you're having like an acre or 2 acres, and all the nutrients are gone. Might be through erosion, both either wind erosion, might be through water, either way, or animal or human activities. We practice erosion during our daily activities, and we're not even aware. Some of you not even aware we know what to do might be causing erosion. So this one leads to soil degradation. So what are we going to do to prevent this soil degradation? I've just said I'm going to state the problem and the solution. At least if you missed something, or if either of these issues has ever happened to you, because I'm sure they have, because these are the most common things, you at least have a way out now. Or maybe if you didn't do it better, you get something, you now get some knowledge to make it better. So first of all, normalize planting cover crops. Cover the land. Don't let it be bare for a long time. Like, even if it's grass, just plant it. Yeah, like, normalize planting cover crops, either grass, either way, whichever that suits you, plant it. At least if you cover it, the topsoil, there'll be nutrients. Normalize testing your soil. Test your soil, know what it's lacking, so that once you're aware your soil lacks certain nutrients, you add them and let them break slow by slow. By the time you want to venture into the real farming and now you're ready, the soil is healthy and it's going to give you good produce, enough, plenty. So key number one, normalize testing your soil, plant cover crops, add nutrients to your soil, avoid overuse of agrochemicals. Like, avoid. Sometimes instead of using herbicides, just put people to the farm, let them weed. Let them use uproot the weeds, instead of going through a lot of spraying chemicals. Normalize, adapt that. The other thing is, I said about planting cover crops, and also, if you're in a dry or semi-arid area, at least practice irrigation. Make sure irrigation, you can use mulch, you can use drip, at least the soil to be moist. That one keeps to maintain the fertility. Anyway, I'm not sure for that, but that is it. Now, as we move, like, those are just some of the solutions to soil degradation, what you can do. And also crop rotation adds here, because as I said, legumes, Leguminous crops are well known for nitrogen. They are always called nitrogen fixing bacteria. The nitrogen fixing agents. Like once you plant them, they're going to fix nitrogen to the soil. If you plant another type of crop that is not leguminous, it's going to consume the nitrogen and maybe add other nutrients to the soil. Now, that's how crop rotation works, and you're going to keep the soil structure and maintain it to be healthy. And once the soil is healthy, you're going to get quality produce. Let's move on to the access. No, before you talk about the marketing problem and the access to finance, credit, let's talk about the subsidies. You know, this challenge of lack of subsidies. Like, for instance, we initially used to have subsidies on our crops, or not crops, like on fertilizer and what seeds. Like, I feel like if we had subsidies on fertilizer, both fertilizer, on agrochemicals in general, they were subsidized, we could be somewhere ahead. People could be using their bare land and turning them into doing farming. Because you find someone be like, this guy has like 7 acres, and be like, the only part is only cultivating 3 acres. Reason number one, he's not in a position to afford maybe the fertilizers, enough fertilizer, enough is not in a position to buy or to purchase seeds, the certified seeds, not only seeds but the certified seeds. The other one, maybe to pay the labor, the people coming to do the work, because one person or two people cannot finish the whole 7 acres. So the only one which we can manage is 2 or 3 acres. Now, what can we do about this? Like, if I feel like subsidies, we should, like, I feel like farmers should come together and form lobby groups. Once you're in these lobby groups, it's going to be easier for you to pursue the government to subsidize fertilizer, seeds, agrochemicals. It will be much easier than you doing it individually. So I advise farmers, form lobby groups. At least it's going to be easier for you to do this and get subsidies. The other one is transformation from, this is what I really wanted to talk about. Transformation from agriculture to agribusiness. Agribusiness, sorry. It's either agro or agri, either way, as long as the agri is constant. Now, from agriculture to agribusiness. Now, what do I mean by saying transformation from agriculture to agribusiness? As I said earlier, agriculture is an art of growing of crops and rearing of animals. That is the art part. And it's also science. And now, how are we going to turn this art into money making? The art, from the art in terms of agriculture to money making, this is what we refer to as agribusiness. And the biggest challenge farmers face is the transformation now. Most do it because of, I need, by the end of this year, I think I need food for next year. Now we just do it because of food now. Farmers, we need to wake up. Let's do, as always, you're always advised to practice agribusiness. Take this farming thing as a business. This is what has employed you. Like, take it as your own business. Like, it has employed you. And once you're employed, what do you expect? Income. So if farmers decide today, I'm growing or keeping animals, not because I'm passionate about them, but because I'm doing it for the sake of money, you're going to do it better, because you don't want to get losses. You want to be getting profits. So if you put that mindset of, if there's a business and I need to earn, I need to make profit, then you're going to go far. As a farmer, like, imagine getting a profit, and this is how we do it. Like, for instance, you're a farmer and you're practicing dairy farming, and you know very well, you are selling your milk 1 liter at 30 shillings to someone who's going to sell this milk at 1 liter at 60 or 70 shillings. You take the initiative, be your own boss. You milk and go sell it by yourself. Imagine you'll be getting, this person coming to buy it from you is going to make the, like, twice money, and as if you both own the same cow. I don't know if you're getting me. Like, okay, for instance, I'm selling milk, you buying, I'm selling. Now I'm the producer, I have the cow. I'm selling you at 30 shillings. You're buying it at 30. You're just an intermediate. You buy it and then go sell. You buy it at 30 from me, go sell it at 60. It's like, I'm not even associated with this milk. Like, you're not even, like, the one is coming to buy is not even associated. It just takes, go sell it and bring me this. Take this 30, give me the 30, and it's sorted. It feels like we own, but we get the same share. I don't know if you're getting me. Now, this is what I mean by converting the art into money. Why don't you find the market yourself? Or even if you're using someone is coming to buy, at least let them buy at a reasonable price, whereby you feel you're not going to, you don't feel like someone is taking advantage of you. You feel like, yeah, through the hardship we've been through, at least this money makes sense. So this is what I'll urge you to do. Go find your market. Transform. Stop practicing agriculture in terms of, it's like you're just doing it because of hand to mouth. No. Do it because you want to prosper. Agriculture is so paying. It's well paying. Well paying if you do it correctly. And if you decide to do it with a business mind, I'm doing it for the sake of money, you're going to earn. You're going to beat someone who stays in office from 8 to 5. Yeah. And remember, it's something, once you do it, like if it's maize planting, once you plant, it grows to knee high, you top dress, that's the end. You give it time until it's mature. You don't need to be going to the shamba every day. You'll be having a good holiday. Like, you don't keep on watching them. It's just for a matter of time until they grow, reach a certain point, and then you just leave them. Same to cows, same to chicken. That's what I mean. So, farmers, this is a major problem. Actually, consider it as a major one. Learn and take this from me and anyone else. Learn this. Transform your review today. Okay, today review. What are you doing? Are you doing agriculture or are you doing agribusiness? If you're doing agriculture, transform. And if you're doing agribusiness, keep it up. Keep it up. Congratulations. Continue with the same spirit. And I'm sure you're going far. Yeah. So why is it so hard? I just found out that it's so hard for people to transform, but what's this thing that is going to help you transform from agriculture to agribusiness? Number one, go to these seminars, attend, like, with seminars, trainings, workshop, attend them. Attend webinars, Twitter spaces whereby farmers are talking about farming, like organization are giving you tips on how to do things. Go to them, learn. Visit agribusiness farms. Visit them. Just go. Just go for benchmarking and be like, I want to grow tomatoes. And I don't know, like, I don't know what to start. Like, I don't know if I'm growing it for the sake of selling or I'm growing it for, for my own purpose. Visit these farms. You'll see the farms itself are going to give you an impression whereby after that visit, when you come back, you're going to have a different perspective of doing things. So visit this agribusiness farm, get to learn. Get to learn. And once you learn, definitely you'll be open-minded enough to, be like, now I'm transforming. The next thing, use social media. For instance, visit a farmer's website. Visit Sprout. Go to the Sprout website, check out the content. It's going to open you up. Maybe there's something you never knew, now you get to know. And it's going to really help you a lot. Use social media, use any social media platform to get this knowledge. And of course, get a mentor. Everybody has a mentor. Like, as for me, like in the media team, I have someone, a mentor who I'm looking up to. I'll be like, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Like, I don't feel like I am where I am. Like, in terms of where I look upon, like, my mentor is somewhere there. I want to be like him. I want to be like her. Embrace the same into farming. Get this farmer, like this person you've always been seeing and be like, hey, this is a great farmer. Namtambua, like, I recognize this type of a farmer. Go meet them, be like, you're my mentor. You inspire me to do this and that. So how am I going to do to achieve this? What should I do? Where did I go wrong? What am I supposed to do to get to this point? Talk to them. I don't know if someone so selfish to give you a secret and be like, okay, this is what you're doing. Yeah, please do this. Please do that. I'm sure there's no one will refuse or deny to teach you or to mentor you. I'm sure no one won't. So have a mentor, not one. Have several. If you're interested in livestock, have a mentor from livestock production in terms of maybe in chicken, rabbit, cows, like the beef, goats. Have a mentor in either of the field. In terms of crop, one for cabbage, one for tomato, one for fruits, vegetables, and find one in every. You will develop the interest, and these people will turn your mindset. And I'm sure you're going to shift to agribusiness. I know you didn't have that secret, but now you do. The other one, this one is about jobs. Those, there's some people be like fancy white collar jobs. Like, the issue between there's this fight between white collar jobs and the blue collar jobs. They're fighting. Someone prefer to rather get dirty in farm than to sit in office from 8 to 5. You get. So I feel like when I remember while I used to study back then in primary school, when you ask when you grow up what do you want to be, trust me, nobody in that class has ever mentioned they want to be a farmer. No one. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a pilot. I want to be an engineer. We've trained our kids, or we were trained in a way that we fancy white collar jobs than the blue collar jobs. Not telling them that even the blue collar jobs are even more paying than the white collar jobs, depending on the field that you're in. So I feel like it's high time whereby we're going to change the mentality and the mindset. Let's make, like for instance, in this, like for now in this generation, let's try and train our kids, let them know like agriculture, things to do with farming, it's a blue collar job, whereby you train them, let them be aware like you can also make money from blue collar jobs, at the same time white collar jobs. Let's have this discussion, tell them you can still be a farmer. If your kids want to be a farmer, let them be. Like, let's stop fancying white collar jobs than the blue ones. It's not that it's bad, it's a preference. Yes, you know what you prefer, but at least it all started here by training them. You can farm, you can get this from the farm, like, once you cultivate, you can get this type of, like, this amount of money. Let's teach kids, let's train them so that when they are grown ups, they choose where they want to be. But if we pressurize them and be like, no, you want to be, you should be this, not this, we're not helping them. So I feel like we should break that barrier of white collar jobs and the blue collar jobs. Let's train people and be like, even farming pays, being in office still pays. You know, we should embrace that. Yeah, we should. I feel like if we had, like, if I was a kid and they could train me and be like, if you chose to be at the farm, it's still okay. If you chose to be at the office, it's still okay. And be like, if you chose to be at the farm, this is what you're supposed to be doing, this and this. It could be better. We could be having a lot. Like, we couldn't be experiencing this issue of shortage of food. I feel like we could be somewhere very far in terms of food production. We couldn't be having hunger issues. We could be inviting, like, we could be having innovation. Like, I feel like most people came and started developing interest in farming and started doing innovations. Like, you find someone utilizing a very small piece of land by doing a lot in it, quite a lot in it. So I feel like it's much easier to train, just train them, let people know, let's um get the understanding. They stop fancying one thing than the other, and let's there be a balance. Of course, if we have a balance, we're good to go. Hmm? I think we're good in that. The other one, there's this mistake, and I feel like it's a big challenge to farmers, whereby a farmer wants to practice mixed farming. Yes, okay, mixed farming is the growing of crops, growing of trees, keeping of livestock, in the same piece of land. Like everything, mixture of everything, like let's say in the same piece of land. You have cattle, you have goats, chicken, rabbits. You've planted a section a section you've planted trees, a section you've planted maize, beans, there's that. You know, I feel like it's farmers do this. Mixed farming doesn't mean that you plant different or keep different things at the same time. Farming or agriculture is a process. It takes time. For it to pick, it takes time. So you should be cautious at the same time. It doesn't mean that if you're practicing mixed farming, you need to do everything at a go. No, you're wrong. What you're supposed to do is do one thing at a time. If you are supposed to be planting trees, growing crops, keeping livestock, and all that, just start by one. Establish a trees, Let them make sure they are okay, like they are at a place whereby they are well watered, they are okay right now, like the chances of them drying up or maybe dying up, it's minimal. After you're done, cultivate your land, plant the crop, monitor them. From there, do the other thing, like one step at a time. But if you decide to do them at a go, I assure you're going to suffer. It won't be easy on you. Yeah, and that's a challenge. I've seen someone do it, and they say like, "Yo, I'm going to lift up my hands high up and surrender." So please, as much as I've seen that from someone, let it not happen to you. And I'm sure maybe there's some whom it has happened to them, and they're like, I learned it the hard way, and they think somebody could just be there and given me guidance, made sure that I did the right thing. But now I'm here. I'm here to make sure you don't do that you don't repeat the same mistake or repeat someone else's mistake. I hope we're getting each other. Now, the other thing, there's this issue of being indecisive, like you're undecided. Indecisiveness. I don't. Yeah, I think that's the right word. You are in undecided. Like, okay, this happens mostly with the upcoming farmers, the young farmers, the ones who are young in the industry, the ones who just started their journey in terms of farming, and they're like, you want to start farming, you have no idea where to start from. You get advice from this farmer. Every farmer has their own method of doing their things, and at the end of the day, they have the same product. It's the same product, but different types methods of how they are going to grow it or keep them you know so the issue of being undecided comes in here, whereby I want to be a farmer. I want to practice, maybe do, like, let me just, I want to get into farming. I have no idea. This farmer A gives me this advice, farmer M gives me this advice, Farmer J gives me this advice. Farmer X gives me this advice and tells me, now I want you to grow carrots. Carrots are the best. This Farmer J tells me, I want you to grow beans. They have the best, market, and, depending, and they do well maybe in this type of soil. Farmer X tells me, I think you should grow maize. Farmer M tells me, grow cabbage or kales. Now you're undecided. You don't know what to do. You just like you don't know, you since you're new, you don't know what's good for you. You don't know like how you're going to go about it. You're not even sure. You're like undecided. And this might end up very bad because you might decide to pick the wrong choice. And be like, let me just do this. Or you aren't sure what you're doing. What I'll advise you is take your time, visit the experts, find the responsible person to consult. In farming, people take farming as an obvious thing. No, it's not obvious. If you want to have minimal loss, you need to have an extension officer, private consultant, an advisor. Have one, at least for you to have minimal loss. But if you be like, you are the Mr. Know It All, I'm sure you're going to suffer. Yeah, kitakuramba mara mbili tatu. That's what they say. It's not easy. Like, just have someone consult. Have a consultant. Have an advisor. Have an extension officer. At least someone who will come visit your farm, tell you what you're supposed to do, give you the best advice, and be like, if you want to do this, if you want to grow maize, if you want to grow beans, I'll advise you to use this type of variety, this type of soil, yeah, like your type of soil, it's best for this. The nutrients available for your soil is best for this type of crop. This region is well known for keeping this breed of livestock. So I prefer, if you do this, if you want to do breeding, you should breed this type of this variety and this variety. So at least have someone to guide you. Don't just make decisions on your own. Yeah, just avoid, follow up. They'll help, seek help. Now let's get to the financial part. You know, on the financial part, I'd like to tackle on the lack of financial resources, and this is the major, like, financial resources. First of all, you need finances. Maybe you have certain type plot of land or size of land, but you have no finances. Like, you really wish to cultivate it, and you don't have enough money to do that. So I feel like most farmers lack the opportunity, because for you to get access to credit or loans, you must be having a security. And as a farmer who has, maybe you're not well established and you have no idea about security, definitely no bank will, or no in financial institution that is going to trust you from the word of mouth. You must be having something to show for you to be granted the credit, or cash to to put into practice in terms of farming or buying of crop of seeds and all that. So my advice to farmers is this: you having a group, you as farmers, form a group, at least form a group. In that group, have something like a table banking, because you're sure your title deed, maybe the one you're having, is not enough for the amount of money you want. Or maybe you want to lease land, piece of land, and start your farming on the other side. Or you want to buy a cow and you're not even sure of it. So I feel my advice to farmers, because this issue of trust and market, nobody will trust you just to give you money and just, okay, you need 50,000, once you get it, bring back. No, no one will do that. You must have something to secure it. So I feel like farmers, you should come up with groups, form farmers, circles, whereby you're going just for farmers from your own region, like where you stay, where within your hood, so that this person, like, for instance, if anything happens, where to get that person, because trusting someone with money, it's hard. It's hard. But if you are in a group and getting that amount of money from a bank and you're in a group, it's much easier than when you're on your own. So I feel like farmers should be having those joint group, table banking group, for you to be in a position to be getting this access to credit. For instance, maybe sometimes you're not that well, in terms of pocket wise, you get to be helped, to be boosted, and to continue the farming. Or sometimes, yes, you are given credit and you promise to give back after you've harvested, or after the end of like after you've harvested. Then boom, in the midst, something happens, maybe, and everything is gone. You didn't harvest, you didn't get to the market. Maybe the rains came and washed away everything, you know. That's another problem, of which I'll advise farmers to get insurance for their livestock to crops. Sorry, from livestock to crop, get insured such that in case of these natural calamities that are they just occur, they are unplanned, you are covered. You don't get to have to get a loss. I think I'm clear on that. Now, the last point I'm going to talk about is the accessibility to the market. Yes, you've gone all through you've gone all through the health parts of planting, top dressing, you know, doing applying of chemicals, fertilizer, and all that. Now, the interesting part is whereby you're going to the market. The market. How is your market? You know, like, first of all, farmers, you do one mistake. You plant, yes, but whatever you're planting, you haven't done research of market. For instance, cabbages. Like recently, I was with a friend in the market and we just gone to check out some three things in the glossary, and we found out that cabbage was so big, very big, and it was sold at 30 shillings, 40. And I was like, this cabbage is worth maybe 100 plus because it was so big. And I was like, I feel like if the farmer could have done a background check, done enough research of if I plant this cabbage at this particular time, by this time there'll be demand in terms of market. Then that farmer could not be a billionaire because of the type of like the amount they'll be selling at. But if you fail to do a background check and you fail to do research in terms of market, I'm sure you're going to get a loss. Or still, before you plant something, make sure you have a market for it. Don't just plant because it's planting. Don't just plant because it's the season. Make sure there's a market for your goods. There's going to be market for your produce. Make sure of that. Yeah, when it comes to market, the access to the market, the roads. Before it reaches the market, maybe the roads. This is another challenge. The roads. The road might be impassable depending on the weather. Sometimes when it's too rainy, the mud, maybe the vehicles get stuck in the way. And most of the agricultural produce are perishable. Before they reach the market, they go bad. And that's a loss to the farmer, especially fresh foods. You know. So that is another challenge, the transport. Remember we talked about that sometime back. Transport, it's a major problem also. The government should intervene. I feel like places whereby it's well known for their produce in terms of agriculture and all that, their roads should be passable instead of impassable. So at least the county government each should make sure at least there's accessibility to the road. And once the road are okay, these goods reaching the market is going to be easier and will reduce the risk of getting losses. Yeah. And I think I had the last point in terms of market. Just do research. Make sure whatever you're planting, it's going to be, accessed. Is it like it's going to be in the market? Like once sorry, like once you get to the market, it's going to be, you're going to earn, once you sell them. So at least before you plant or try any type or practice any type of agriculture, make sure you do research. Yeah, just do your own research. Make sure. Do research. Do research, be creative, be innovative. Don't just do things because they're supposed to be done. And consider money. Money making, yo. Get rich through agriculture. Because I know you will. It's easier to get rich in agriculture, by practicing agribusiness. Now, today we were talking about these challenges. These are some of the challenges that are facing farmers. Like I just pointed some of them, and I'd asked earlier, like if you are, I was trying to go through some of the links, at least to see the people who have, the comments, the question I had asked about, you as a farmer. I wanted to hear from you as a farmer some of the challenges you've been going through, and maybe we get to know, so that at least it's easier for me or for us to bring, when you're bringing in the expert, he knows what you're tackling. Anyway, I'll follow up. I'll go through some of your comments to get to know. I'll go through them so that when you're inviting the expert, when he or she comes in, he'll be answering any of the questions, the challenges you'll be addressing. He'll be going through them. I think my time is going on. Anyway, you keep on a Farmers Media, where we connect, learn, and grow. This is Farm Drive. My name is Boss Queen. My name is Boss Queen. And make sure you follow all our social media platforms. All. At a Farmers Media on Facebook, a Farmers _ a Farmers with a Z _ on Twitter, and our website www.afarmers.com. And of course, follow me at bossqueen _ke on all social media platforms. Bossqueen _ke on Facebook is bossqueen ke, or bossqueen the page. Like, follow. Let's interact. See you tomorrow. Same time, same place. So, and of course, many thanks to the production team, the producer, the director, camera person. Big shout out to you. You're doing an amazing job to make sure we are broadcasting this. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Keep it a Farmers Media, where we connect, learn, and grow. Bye-bye.
The heart of any shamba lies in its soil. Because soil is so precious, it needs to be managed really carefully. A good place to start is with a soil test. This will tell you how healthy your soil is, its pH levels, what type of soil it is, which crops you can grow in your soil, and advice on which fertilizer is best to use. If you follow the soil test recommendations, it can boost your yields. So, how do you take a soil test sample? Firstly, dig up soil samples. Use a soil auger or panga to take a sample 1 feet deep in a zigzag pattern across your shamba. You will need at least 10 samples. Mix all the different samples together in a bucket. The soil is now ready to be scanned and tested. You can find out about how to get your soil tested by contacting your extension officer. Alternatively, contact a Ministry of Agriculture research station near you. A soil test costs about as much as 1 bag of maize. You should do a soil test at least every 3 to 5 years. Conservation agriculture is a way of farming that keeps nutrients and moisture in your soil. It's also a good way of controlling pests and diseases. The three main principles are minimum tillage, mulching, and crop rotation. With minimum tillage, you only disturb the soil where you will be planting. You can do this with a reaper or using a djembe. The second principle is called mulching. This means that you cover your soil with leftover residues such as leaves or maize stovers. This protects your soil from the hot sun while holding moisture in the ground. The mulch material will break down and add nutrients to your soil. Crop rotation is the third principle. You shouldn't plant the same crop on the same piece of land year after year. Instead, rotate between different crop families each season. If you follow these simple principles, you can be certain of healthier soil and higher yields in the long run.